Big round of applause. Black Ballerina here at the Bank Building. So I'll throw some openers and then we'll pass the mic around. So, Fran, congratulations. I mean, this movie, this is my third time seeing it. It's just, it has it all. I mean, it really breaks down the issues. There's so many, absolutely, so many levels in which to read this film. What inspired you to want to tell this story, and from perspective-wise, you know, what's your? I know you said what you wanted to say in the film, but what's your take on the situation?
Well, I've always loved ballet. I started ballet class when I was about 6 years old. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to have ballet class. But I've always loved it, and I still actually take some ballet class at night, twice a week, believe it or not. But I also have a strong sense of fairness and justice, and this subject matter combines the two interests and the two impulses. And about 4 years ago now, in July of 2011, I had an opportunity to meet with Miss Joan Myers-Brown, founder of Philadanco and artistic director. And we had a good chat, and I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember how long ago it was.
It
It seemed like it was forever ago.
4 or 5 years ago, but you very graciously gave me some background and suggested people for me to speak with. So one thing led to another, and before I knew it, you know, the story began coming together and the characters began to emerge. So it's a long process making documentaries, but it's not possible without people such as Ms. Brown, Kim Beers-Bailey from Philadanco and University of the Arts, and Nadine Patterson, who is the outreach producer and has been for at least 3 years.
2014.
Yeah, so these things don't happen by themselves. You need a lot of people. You need very interesting people who have great stories to tell.
Absolutely.
And I think you can tell from some of the people on the screen, they are wonderful storytellers.
Yeah, incredible access and great stories, a lot of history, a lot of things. I guess you wouldn't have those stories in books, otherwise. I mean, but Miss Brown, I mean Philadanco, you know, it's just a seminal institution here in Philadelphia. But you know, for those who don't know, what inspired you to create Philadanco and
Well, you know, it's a long story. First, I have a dancing school.
okay.
And I started my school in 1960. And 10 years later, the little girls that I started when they were 16, 17 years old. And they said, well, what are we going to do with this training? You beat us up and told us about being ballet dancers. Sent them to Pennsylvania Ballet. And I said, go, you know, study, do more, because the kids that go to my school won't go 1 hour a week or maybe 2 days a week. But they need this kind of training every day. So I tried to make them go someplace else where they can get more. And they would bounce back to me and say, well, they don't like us, they don't correct us, they don't treat us right. What are we going to do? So I thought maybe, I said, if I would start a group, you know, the Links, the Continentals, the Camafaye, and everybody else, they always want you to dance for free. So I said, well, if we have a little group, maybe they can dance around the city, and that'll make them want to work harder and do more. So we started just how we started. It was one of my former members back there. Yeah, and, you know, our first tour was to Camden, and we've been touring ever since.
Right, and maybe you can speak to this. I mean, this is kind of a fitting day for me. Like I said earlier, we talked to the makers of STEP, which is about bringing dance into the public school system and how you know, you need a balance in terms of curricular and extracurricular in order to have successful, well-developed individuals. You know, can you speak to?
Well, I want to say something about that because actually I got started dancing at West Philadelphia High School. My gym teacher said, you should dance. And I'm like, I can dance because, you know, I was doing the whatever they were doing. She said, no, I mean, I think you should dance. Come to the ballet club. And at the ballet club, there were no black girls. I was the one she invited, you know, and I'm like, I don't have any idea what they're doing. But I looked at them. I said, well, if they can do this stuff, I can do that stuff, you know. But I was lucky. I had a girlfriend who was a white girl who went to a school, because, of course, you looked around for schools in 1949. They weren't taking black folks in nothing. You could hardly go to the restaurant. But she would teach me in the morning so that when I went to the dance club after school, I had some idea what was going on. And when they started talking French, I knew what they kind of meant. But, you know, I was following my tail off because I didn't know anything. So the school was important. And West Philadelphia High School, when Mrs. Lingenfelter was there, produced a lot of black girls that could dance.
Right, and let's address that. Please be ready for your questions. But I mean, that's the primary issue. You know, if we're like, there's so much we segregate ourselves so much in terms of identity and culture. But you know, clearly, if somebody has a gift, they should not be prevented from exploring it. You know, speak to that. Because when I see this film, it's not just about ballet for me. It seems it's about what's happening in America right now. You know, like you know, a lot of people would love for people just to go off in the corner and disappear and just, okay, that doesn't belong to you and this doesn't belong. Just speak to the right of just being able to have opportunities to exercise your craft and be excellent at it. Can you speak to that? Please introduce yourself.
Our educator here.
Well, Virginia Johnson said it very clearly, and you know, I'm very fortunate to have a Joan Myers-Brown who brought someone like Dolores Brown Abelson, Marion Suje to us to bring us to excellence. And they said it, if you open the door, we'll walk in. And we walk in with excellence, with the education, with the talent, with all of these things that they say that we don't have or can't accomplish. And you know, to be able to have been given that opportunity. I came here in 1980 and walked into Philadanco's doors in 1981 and haven't left since, because someone opened the door and continues. She continues to give me and many others that look like me and those that don't look like me an opportunity, and that's priceless. You can't put a price tag on that, because just like Raven Wilkinson said, she was discouraged, and had Aunt Joan, Mom, I call her, got discouraged where she didn't want to make it better for someone else. If she didn't want to open those doors, then I wouldn't be sitting here having my story. And so I'm grateful that through all of what she endured and the teachers that she brought in to teach us, they endured, that they still wanted to fight hard to make it possible for us.
But you know what, ironically, we talked about, my Philadanco is 48 years old, and I don't know how that happened because I'm only 39. But when I started Philadanco, there were no black girls in Pennsylvania Ballet, and I think they've had several men, and they've had a couple of girls that stay. This year, for the first time, 47 years later, they got 2 black girls. 47 years.
But Joan, explain how that happened, because you were instrumental with the organization that really is helping this cause move ahead somewhat more rapidly in the past few years.
Well, you know, I started an organization called International Association of Blacks in Dance, so that all of us with black dance companies could, across the country, could help each other. But I was given an award by an association called the Regional Dance America, which is all ballet companies from all across the country. And they said, we want to give you an award. So, you know, I go. And it was at the Kimmel Center. And I look around, there's 800 little white girls. And I see one black girl. And I said to the woman, I said, where are the black girls? She said, oh, I don't know where to find them. So I said, you know what, I'm going to find them for you. So we, at IABD 3 years ago, we sent out a call. We said, any black girls that want to be ballet dancers, show up for this audition, and we're going to make sure people see you. So we called Joffrey Ballet, Pennsylvania Ballet, San Francisco Ballet, Oregon. We called all of 15 companies showed up. And we were in Denver. And first of all, then when they got the word out, then Denver Ballet said, oh, bring it over to our school. I said, no, I'm not going to bring it over to your school so you can claim this was your idea. We're going to have it right here in this little black school in Denver. We had 101 black girls show up. Joffrey Ballet gave 20 scholarships that year. Oregon Ballet hired. So Pennsylvania Ballet got 2 girls out of the audition last year in Dallas and gave them opportunities. But, you know, I have one little girl from Marion, Wisconsin, and, you know, she was the first girl to get to me. And I said, you're going to be my poster girl. So she's now 17, and this year she got a full scholarship to Joffrey Ballet. So, you know, we got to make it available for them. We have to make it available.
Fantastic. I one more, and be ready for your questions. So either Nadine or Fran. So I mean, this kind of change. I mean, one, it's incremental. It's not happening fast enough, to my taste.
No.
But within our lifetimes,
I
we've seen-
cry every time I see that film.
But we have seen change in our lifetime. We can't assume nothing's changed. You guys have been fighting the fight. But I mean, how does it happen? Is it sort of the commercial aspects, like is it the breaking through of a Misty Copeland, or does it make economic sense, or is it just more people in positions of power that feel like, okay, we need to open this door more?
Well, you know, they talk about diversity. That's bullshit to me. You know, outreach, you know, they say, oh, we do outreach, and they give Pennsylvania Ballet $40,000 to go teach little black kids. But you know who's teaching those little black kids? The teachers from Philadanco. They're not sending their little white girls out to teach our black kids. And, you know, I think that we have to insist that they open the doors. We have to take our kids to their school and make sure they train them well, not send them back to me. They come back to me. They don't, that same story. You know, Misty Copeland, it took them 15 years to give her a job. You know, she wasn't a phenomenon. She was a subject of marketing. Was it Under Armour? They made her naked and jumped her all across every television in the country, and they had to hire her. Because if they had not, then they would be like, oh, well, why didn't you hire her? You know, and now she's still not getting everything she should get. And I don't knock her talent. She's an amazing dancer, but she wasn't the first one, and she won't be the last one.
Any questions here?
All right, first let me congratulate you on an excellent film, all right? And I didn't hear, but what year was this film made, and how long did it take you to make it?
It was finished, last year. What's this year?
2016.
2016 it was finished. It started in 2011. So they take about 5 years, this type of documentary. And what takes so long is raising the money to get it done. You know, if you had all the money in the beginning, you could probably do it in maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, I noticed how you was traveling around. And my other question is, this is actually really the first time I've been introduced to ballet, and it is a beautiful art form, you know. And what would you expect from a typical ballet production? Like how long would it last, and does it tell a story? Can you give me some of that?
Do you want to answer?
Kim, you're the educator.
Well, most ballets are just that. They do tell stories. So in typical classical ballet, it's like, have you heard of Nutcracker? Okay, so the Nutcracker is a whole evening length ballet. And so most of them are garnered that way, that they're long length ballets, Swan Lake. So like Philadanco is a modern contemporary company, so with our concerts you may see 4 or 5 repertory pieces on one concert. In the classical ballet setting you may see 2 ballets. So they're long, their core of people is much larger than a typical contemporary company, so the size of companies, which is why when you see one black dancer that stands out so vividly, because there are probably 20 other white dancers on the stage, 30, yes. So, you know, and a lot of them are done to live orchestra. So it's very costly to present a classical ballet setting. But again, they're out there. We can do that.
And the performances probably are 2.5 hours?
Yes.
2 hours,
right,
2.5 hours.
long.
Hi, I'm Barbara Clayton, and I have a background in dance, not ballet, but my dance teacher, you probably know her, Miss Joan, Miss Brown, Libby Spencer. Also, I had the opportunity to perform with Miss Hortense Allen and Edie, some of the legends, but we're talking tap. But you said something was very important, that you started in West Philadelphia High School, and I'm being in the school district, I see a lot of young children that have the potential to be excellent dancers, but the problem is a lot of the parents cannot afford schools, dance schools, and that was one of the issues with me as a child when I started in the 60s. My parent could not afford me to go to dance school, so we went to Mary Anderson Recreation Center where the classes were free. We don't have that today. And it's sad to see so many gifted little kids that will never get the opportunity to show their talent. And it would be an excellent, excellent idea if the schools can make that a curriculum and then not only teach them dance, but teach them grace and teach them how to behave and act. So, that was a good thing about the school.
Well, that's something I try to do all the time. I think my school, we probably give about 75 scholarships a year. In fact, we have a summer program now that's going on. It used to be totally free, but our kids are missing something before they get to the dance. Now, we have to remember parenting is not what it used to be. So, my kids don't even come. If they say they don't feel like coming, their mom said, well, you don't have to go. Used to be if your mom signed you up for something, you went. And I know my mother paid $1.50 for me to go to Esther Marie Dorsey and Libby Spencer and all of them were there. And if you said, I want to do this, then you did that. But my kids, and I'm like, I had a recital, and I'm like, where all those kids come from? I didn't even know them. Because they show up a month before the recital, so they can be in the recital, and then the moms take them and leave before it's over. We don't get that commitment of support for a child that has that dream, because it sometimes get lost. And in the schools, it does happen. I send all my teachers teach in the school systems. I send somebody right over here to 42nd and Spruce to the center to teach. Kim goes anywhere I send her and teaches. But, I have 30 teachers in the school, so I can send them places. But the school district really is lacking too. But parenting is lacking. Parenting is lacking. I take my kids to the Academy of Music for a recital, and I say to a parent, with the rehearsals at the Academy, they say, where's that? I'm like, where's that? You never been to the Academy? Late to me, I ain't got no time for that. They don't take them to the museum. They don't take them to the art shows. They don't take them to the library. If the schools don't take them, they don't go. So, it's something that we have to do. We have work to do in our community with our youngsters.
I just wanted to say, so Philadanco is right around the corner on Preston and Market, in the heart of West Philadelphia, where Aunt Joan grew up. And, she's been committed. She could have been anywhere, but she's committed to being in this community. It's one of the inexpensive programs you'll ever find. When I tell people what the program is for the summer program, they are like, are you kidding me? Because most of these programs are costing $1,000 a week. It's $200 for 6 weeks of excellent training. She brings teachers across the globe to come and teach our kids, but she wants to make it affordable for those, because there's that one kid that will come in that door that will go up that ladder to the youth company. She has a second company, to the first company. Again, the opportunity is there, but again, she's right. The parents have to also want to investigate that time to find out what's out there.
Just doing some quick math here. So I failed to mention this at the beginning, but we do have DVDs of Black Ballerina for sale. Now they're $20 a piece, right? And half the proceeds from tonight's sales will go directly to Philadanco. So if we did some quick math, there's at least 20 people here. We could get at least one kid 6 weeks of dance education if everybody bought our DVD tonight.
Yeah, I think save it for
But it's and they'll sign it too, so that's always cool. Have a memento.
Yeah, get Ms. Brown to sign
A
it.
question here?
Hello, I just wanted to say this is a pleasure to see a real live revolutionary right here in front of us today. This is wonderful, so thank you very much. I also wanted to say, just because you have this director here, how would you feel about making a film, remaking Malcolm X or something in the ballet form, Lion King or something like that? I think any kind of black film, if you were to remake that in a ballet tradition, I think that would be very beautiful and awesome.
Very, very,
That was a good
Yeah.
idea.
very, it's a great idea.
And
Yeah.
one other
We'll let
thing.
Nadine, she's a filmmaker too.
Awesome.
Sorry.
And then I wanted to know, how do you feel about the men in ballerinas? You know, how is the struggle with them,
With men?
with the men?
Well, you know, that's one thing people always talk about, the men of Philadanco. When I started the company, I had no men in my dancing school. And I said, well, if we're going to do these numbers, I got to have some guys. I went to West Philadelphia High School, and I got some of the football players to come. I said, if you could dance with these girls, they're cute, you know. I need somebody to pick them up. And some of the guys had been in the plays in the school. So I had about 6 guys show up, the football players. Don't pick up the girls, throw them around. Yeah, I like the way they look. But the guys fell in love with dance. So the thing that happens at Philadanco, we always have a cadre of men, and some of the guys, I have no problem with them, the way they live their life outside of dance. But I tell them, when you're on my stage, you got to be a man. You got to represent whatever. You can be an actor. I don't care what you do. But I think boys have a hard problem. Daddy said, you're not going to be a dancer. That ballet is going to make you gay. I said, ballet never made anybody gay. We just taught them how to dance. My dad said, I have to play football. My dad said, I can't do that. And I have guys that have started dancing after they become adults because they wanted to dance. And most of my guys start when they're 15 and 16. Very few of them. I got a little boy now, it's fabulous. And I told him, I said, Anthony Burrell, he choreographed for Beyonce and Mariah Carey. He's one of my former students. He's at the school teaching now. He's going to do 2 weeks of classes. And he says, send the little boys to me so they know it's okay to dance. So it is difficult for men. Dad said, get a job. What do you mean you're going to dance? So now I make sure I pay my guys. I pay them 52 weeks of the year. Most of the contracts are for 30 weeks. I said, you're not going to have to go on unemployment. We're going to pay you. So, and the kids, I got 2 guys in the company from Philly, everybody else from somewhere else. I have no girls in the company from Philly because we do by audition. So they come, I got a girl from Nicaragua, I got 1 white girl, I got, and I can't not integrate my company and talk about prejudice. So I got to say, my company's integrated, why isn't your company integrated, So the guys do have difficulty, but we got a place for them.
I just want to say I think that's a wonderful idea, and I've been working with Carmela Vassar, who's another documentary filmmaker who's worked with Philadanco through the years, and we would love to be able to go to Pew Foundation or William Penn Foundation and say, hey, give us $500,000 to do a feature-length film ballet version of a piece with Philadanco. But unfortunately, the white foundations really are not interested in this multicultural, diverse art that has an Afrocentric base to it. They have no interest in funding and supporting that. And they don't fund Philadanco, so Ms. Joan has to go to New York City to get major foundational support. So that's an issue for all black organizations or multi-ethnic organizations in Philadelphia that are led by people of color. We don't have the same type of support that white identified companies have, and it's tragic because they do the best work. Philadanco is like the top company in the city of Philadelphia, I would say, on the East Coast in the USA. So, but seriously, I mean, it's just the feeling that you get. They can do anything. They do every style of dance. They do Rennie Harris. They do Christopher Hudgens. They do like everybody. They can do everybody. And I haven't seen another company like that. So, and also I want to say this. She exports her, I don't know, you're able to export what you do around the world. So one of your students, Carol Johnson, she started a dance company in Sydney, Australia. Sydney, Australia. So there's a line that goes from Joan Myers-Brown to dance companies all over the globe. And that's very important for us to recognize as a community. This is a global revolutionary dance movement right here. So thank you.
Okay. Okay. So,
She's your new publicity.
well, we've opened some doors and some windows and enlightened folks with the film. Just in terms of legacy. I mean, it's very clear from looking at the film and in these conversations that the arts have the power to transform lives. That you've shaped a lot of people. You changed the course and direction of a lot of people's lives just by opening their world to dance. But in terms of a legacy, like I guess it's still ballet. That's one of those institutions that's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna be like the NBA, where 20 years from now it's gonna be nothing but black folks ballet dancing. However, and it, remains to be seen, right? So, however, it does seem that whenever opportunity is given to people of color, we generate the best, always. And in terms of the legacy, like what can we do to keep building this? Because it just seems like we're just like ballet. At the end of the film, you say ballet is in trouble. It seems like a lot of cultural elements are in trouble. What can we do to continue the legacy of Joan Myers-Brown or the people in the films?
We have a problem as people, our people, we can't blame it all on white folks. Lee Daniels, who's Lee Daniels? You all look at Empire every week. Lee Daniels was one of my students. Right here in Philly, when he was 10 years old, he was running around Philadanco, a badass little boy. Lee Daniels makes millions. I think Wells Fargo sent him a note saying, we're going to honor Joan Myers-Brown. And he sent back, she's a great influence on my life. He didn't give me a quarter. Leslie Odom, Hamilton last year, got a Tony. We brought him to Philly. They honored him at City Hall. We have to remember we got to give back.
Absolutely.
Not just to me.
Support
We got to help each other. I got a long list. Start with Kim Beer.
And I'm always saying nobody's coming to save us. No, we got a lot of problems, but the art and just giving people just even things to do or things to discover about themselves is so important. Not just not to just say like everybody's gonna make it to dance theater Harlem, but just discipline.
Why not?
Well, I'm everybody. You want everybody in? You want everybody in?
Everybody that wants.
Okay, well, cool. Let's take us there. Take us there. What does it take to get everybody?
I said everybody that wants to, they should have an opportunity to be trained, because that's about training. It's about training. You just can't jump up and be a ballet dancer. You see, it's hard work. It's dedication. It takes years, and it takes parenting. My granddaughter's a diver. My daughter drives her back and forth to North Carolina. She's the only white girl on the East Coast diving. But the parent has to commit, drive back and forth, leave middle of the night, get her down there so she can get on the board. The white girls are telling her she can't dive. What's wrong with you? What's happened to your hair? She want to dive. But the parent has to want to. So if you make it possible, then they are ready, then they can get that opportunity. But our institutions don't get to, as she said, don't get to support. I can preach, Lord.
Oh no, we need this because, like I said, every great tree begins with a seed, and you've got a tremendous tree right around the corner. So we're beaming this out. So we want people to be aware of what you've invested and how you've you've helped so many people and helped the community, how this film is raising awareness of all these people, these stories. If you waited like 4 or 5 more years, maybe you wouldn't even have those stories.
89 and 4 more years.
God bless you. So now,
Very hard to believe.
so now's the time. So Fran, I'll give you to close. So now you got a chance to meet and interact with all these great legends, pioneers. I know there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's only an hour long. What's a story about one of the people that you spoke with that was so compelling, but you didn't quite make the cut? That's really interesting.
That didn't make the cut. Well, one person was Keith Lee. He's the person I met, I think, the first day we shot down at Philadanco. He's a former dancer with American Ballet Theater, was he? He's now probably about 50 and runs a company in Lynchburg, Virginia. But he was teaching during the summer of 2011 at Philadanco. And he was great, wonderful storyteller, delightful person. We recorded him at his classes. They were all great. But it just didn't fit into the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his story would have taken it in a different direction.
By him
so
being male, or because it was a little different?
I think partly because he was male.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would have opened up a whole other storyline that within 55 minutes for PBS, there just wasn't time for. And we didn't want to eliminate any of the other women that we had interviewed, you know. It's a very painful process because you find yourself editing out so much wonderful
He was in the
material.
first cut that I saw. He was
Yeah,
there.
we had him there the first time, and then it just it just didn't work. But he is a wonderful person and deserves a lot of recognition.
All right. Well, so we commend you for, making the film and then bringing it here to share.
Oh,
And
can I
thank you.
just close by saying thank you, Mike. Thank you, Kevin. I don't know
Yes. Yeah.
where. James and Carol. Thank you all for your support, and
Carolee
Ms.
and
Joan and Kim for being able to join us tonight.
yeah,
share
this is a
this.
great night. Any final questions or thoughts? So, one last question. Was Stormy? Hang on. Wait for the mic. Wait for the mic. Want people to know you're in here.
I just want to comment that ballet is the foundation of dance universally. So if you have ballet, you can transition to any other aspect of dance. So that's the best thing, that anybody that wants to dance, they need to start off with ballet.
Okay. And any dancers in here? I see anybody? Me? Jazz dancer. And you dance. Okay. Well, again, thank you. Oh, so before we do the big round of applause and the big line to get the DVDs or all the money, just counter, like we're going to have the opposite of Jay-Z throwing money out of the Dumbo, throwing money out into the hood. This money's gone to a very specific place, which is Joan Myers Brown's pockets, so that she can keep these kids educated. Next month, we'll be back. We're going to show Free of Eden, which is one of my favorite movies. It's very anybody that wants passes, we don't have a formal giveaway. Tuesday night, thank you, Carolee. We have a few passes left for Girls Trip at the Riverview, so if you want to go, let me know. You should have gotten that already. Anyway, Free of Eden, Sidney Poitier co-starring with his daughter, also named Sidney Poitier. And it's sort of like a Finding Forrester thing where he is a well-to-do older man, educator, businessman, and she's sort of like a street kid who's got potential and promise, but needs a mentor. So it's like a My Fair Lady. Remember that one? But it's a beautiful film. It was made for Showtime back in the day. Not too many people have seen it, but I think it's very fitting for the summer. Something that you can bring kids to and stuff. And go for it.
Philadanco will be at the Dell on the 28th of July. Every ticket at the Dell will be $10. So, if you come to the Kimmel, the tickets are $50, $60. The Dell, you can bring lunch. You can sit out there all day and bring your kids. So, and also we'll be on sharing the program with the Black Pearl Orchestra. So it's a whole cultural evening. They're going to start. They'll do an hour, intermission, then we'll do an hour. I'm bringing all three of my companies. I have a youth group, a pre-professional group, and a performing company. So we're going to be there at the Dell. You know how to get up there. You can park in the hill and come on over.
And I guess I should say, Fran, anything where can people find you? What are you working on? Blah, blah, blah. Final thought kind of thing.
We don't have any scheduled screenings coming up.
Channel 35.
It was on Channel 35 a couple nights ago. They're very good. They've been rerunning it a lot.
Awesome.
So we're happy about that.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, so thank you all for being here. This is a great night, once again. Just housekeeping. So if you like film, I recommend 2 events this Tuesday. We have the girls' trip screening, but also Tuesday night, Sam Pollard, who is editor extraordinaire. He edited a lot of movies for Spike Lee and worked on Slavery by Another Name, just a master documentarian. He's going to be here in Philadelphia for 2 nights. Tuesday night, he's showing his new movie about Acorn at the International House, and then Wednesday night at the Scribe. Scribe moved, it's on Walnut Street now. He's doing a master class, so I would assume he's going to go through his work and talk about how he comes to be a great editor. And then also, if you haven't already, make sure that you go to the blackstarfest.org website, because Black Star Fest, that's another gem in Philly. You definitely want to have and Real Black members, if you're a Real Black member, you get a code, $25 off your full festival pass. But this is this incredible lineup of Black independent films, a lot of movies that you won't see elsewhere, and it's like family. A lot of great filmmakers come back year after year and show their new work, including Terrence Nance, who did Oversimplification of His Beauty. He's got a new short film he's showing. There's a great film that played Sundance. 2 movies that were at Sundance are going to be a Black Star short films, Night Shift, and then another movie with Beth Ann Hardison in her very first acting role, where she's playing a woman with Alzheimer's. I'm looking forward to that. And then the big marquee thing, you know Ava DuVernay? Anybody know her? Okay, so she does Queen Sugar. She's Oscar-nominated film, 13th, 8 Emmy nominations. And also proud partner with Real Black in her distribution collective, Array. She's getting the Rich Nichols Award. So she's at the award ceremony on August 5th at World Cafe Live. She'll be receiving that award. But also during the afternoon, she's going to be doing a conversation with the festival founder, McElroy Caramel Holmes. So you definitely want to, and it's going to be crazy. Get your tickets now. That's all I have to say. And she's just dropping jewels. She's an inspiration. She's definitely somebody that's carrying the torch for getting more people in those doors and using power and speaking truth to power. So you don't want to miss that. Please support Black Star Film Fest the first weekend of August. So
You can always show films at Philadanco too.
oh, without question, yeah, anytime. Well, I got to find the right film though, so it fits.
It was stormy weather and all the old stuff.
Oh, with the dancing. Okay, well we just built a network. So, thank you. All right, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna talk some more, just to spite. No, yeah. All right, thank you so much. Big round of applause.
There is a dance film screen. Great.
Yeah, no, you guys were great. Thanks.